So in the Buckeye State, it's simply referred to as Michigan Week, or with all the M cancellations in recent years, I don't know how that's pronounced, maybe Michigan Week. We got Pat Murphy on the line from Bucknuts 247 Sports. Please check out his work there. Pat, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Yes, it's for younger people. I don't think they quite get it. My son doesn't. He's seen the documentaries and sees all the pregame hype and the buildup on ABC every year, or it's been Fox the last couple of years. But so he understands the history, but it just hasn't played out for him during his time as a football fan. But Ohio State, Michigan, still special, and I'm sure there's a different feel among your writing fraternity and just the people covering the sport there.
Absolutely. This week, it feels different regardless of what kind of perspective you have on it, be it a fan, a player, a coach, a media member, whatever. There's just something different. And, you get this in rivalries in any sport, but college football is unique in the sense that these teams play once a year. It's for bragging rights, be it, Ohio State, Michigan, the Iron Bowl with Alabama, Auburn, USC, UCLA. I mean, whatever the rivalry is, the Egg Bowl, there's something on the line that lasts 365 days. So, it just means a little more. There's obviously the long history of all these teams. And when we're talking Ohio State and Michigan specifically, it's been two teams that, going back throughout the history of college football, these have been two teams that at one point or another have both been very dominant, both have multiple national champions. The two teams that you think of first when you think of the Big Ten, especially historically. So there's just a lot on the line. And then, Bo and Woody, the 10-year war, Jim Tressel coming to Columbus and, making his famous speech about however many days it was up in Ann Arbor, you'll be proud of the boys, that type of thing. And obviously he started this kind of dominant run that Ohio State has had. And you mentioned there are, now plenty of kids who, and, not even necessarily kids anymore, that have grown up with this rivalry on one side or the other and either have pretty much only experienced winning or only experienced losing. So, I've always been the type that I think the rivalry is best when both teams are competitive. Obviously, from an Ohio State perspective, you want Ohio State to win every year if you're an Ohio State fan, right? But when the rivalry is competitive, when there's that nervous energy going into a game, I think I saw this game, this is the biggest spread or opening line spread since like 1974. And you never know what happens. They say throw out the records and all that. And that's true. You've seen upsets in this series before plenty of times. But, when you have a spread that big, 30 points or whatever it is, it does take a little bit of the buzz off of it. But there is still some of that energy around Columbus and I assume up in Ann Arbor this week.
Yeah, I've reminded people that, yes, upsets in the past, they were mild upsets. They were great team versus good team. They were, an 11-0 versus an 8-3, a very capable, talent-laden team that just happened to lose like 3 games, not a just dysfunctional team. And what we see in Ann Arbor this year with Michigan. Pat, before we move on to the nuts and bolts of what happened against the Spartans last week and move into Michigan, is there any particular story, anything that comes to mind in regards to the Michigan history, whether you experienced it as a writer, a fan, just anything that comes to mind that's unique to you that kind of captures the pinnacle of your thoughts and the excitement and the fervor surrounding this one?
Well, the most recent example was I tweeted out my picture and video from this instance from the game that went to overtime a few years ago where Curtis Samuel scores the game-winning touchdown. That call gets used a lot, but I was standing right in the end zone. We're down on the sideline at the end of the game. They let the media people come down from the press box. You can easier get to the post-game press conference. And so when it goes into overtime, you're down there for a while. And I happened to be in that corner of the end zone where Curtis Samuel scored, and the ESPN broadcast, if I have a picture of it, and there I am, Curtis Samuel and Pat Elflein, I think, and me and a few other media members. And I was taking a video, which I still have of that run, coincidentally. So that was a cool moment for me, just to, kind of be frozen in time in that moment. And I'm obviously an insignificant figure in the background there, but I do like to show it off from that time to time. But I think one of the games that just stands out when I think about this rivalry was what was the start of the Jim Tressel era, especially 2002. Ohio State obviously goes on to win the national championship against Miami. And that's when, being in Columbus and growing up around Ohio State football, that's when I really kind of got what this was about. I'd been around Ohio State, Michigan games before and things like that. But the fact that Ohio State won and was going to the national championship game, something that obviously haven't happened. There hadn't been a national championship game per se, but that feeling, was different from some of the other games. So, that was kind of the start of it too, which I think resonates a little bit as well.